Hey, so last time I talked about Diablo 4, I was feeling a bit mixed. There were things I liked and didn't like in the beta. Now over a month later, after some developer interviews and another beta weekend, I am definitely feeling a lot more hopeful. I'm hungry for Diablo again.
I'm bloody hungry.
But again, bear in mind, this is a beta preview and I can't fully judge the game.
You cannot judge me!
So these days when a game releases a beta version for testing, it's usually a week before the game's launch and there isn't any time to make any changes to the game. A lot of developers purely use a beta test as a time-limited demo for marketing. Hey, credit where credit is due. Blizzard have been responding to and making improvements to Diablo 4 based on the feedback from the beta months before launch. Blizzard have been putting in the work.
Now, our true work begins.
Hey, I'm trying to grow the channel, I'm trying to reach 10,000 subs, so any likes or subs would be greatly appreciated. Thanks. So something I was dreading was the open world nature of the game. You're going to have to get loads of collectibles across each map like the Altars of Lilith to get permanent stat increases. And that's not something I personally like the idea of every single season, but the developers have confirmed that once you've acquired these collectibles, the progress will carry over into future seasons. That's a thumbs up from me. The developers also announced that once you've unlocked your mount in the campaign, it's available on all future characters from the start, and once you finish the campaign, it's completely optional and you can choose to skip the campaign on all future characters and even future seasons. I think it's great we're getting the campaign skip in at launch. I think the campaign is going to rock, so I might play through it a few times anyway just to soak up all the Diablo lore. But I'm definitely feeling more hopeful towards future seasons now, knowing that so much stuff like those collectibles are going to carry over, and the developers expressed commitment to quality of life improvements where possible, or based on feedback in future seasons. One of my nitpicks previously was the in-game font, particularly in the user interface. When everything else in the game is gothic and horror themed, a generic font just felt out of place, especially if you've played previous games that have their own Diablo font. I'm happy to see we're getting a much more suitable font, and that old gothic Diablo font is returning in some places too. A lot of people were upset that other people had criticisms about the font. I mean, the purpose of a beta is user testing and feedback. It goes back to what I said earlier, I think people are just used to betas being used to demo a game these days and not actually provide the development team with feedback. I don't think I'll personally be forking out money for shop items. I think the developers are getting enough money from me through the game, expansion packs and battle passes, and I have no interest in cosmetics that have not been earned in-game. So new seasons will be 90 to 120 days long. They'll feature a battle pass and a core theme that will affect gameplay and shape the story around that season. I get the impression that seasons will function similar to Path of Exile. If you haven't played that, each season is themed around a new gameplay mechanic that can appear in every map location, from little arena trials to monster body parts you can find and put together to create custom bosses to fight. Or enemies might have the chance to drop heist plans, which you can then take to the Rogue Harbour to go on dangerous but rewarding heists. It's something different every season. I reckon we'll see a similar formula in Diablo 4 seasons, which leads into the Battle Pass. The developers explain that there are only two ways to earn favour and level up the Battle Pass. One, through season journey challenges similar to Diablo 3, and two, by simply just playing and levelling up a character. The developers forgot about the third way, swiping your credit card. As you progress the Battle Pass, you'll earn a new currency called Smouldering Ashes, which you can then spend on seasonal blessings which provide a bonus to XP, gold, salvaging results, and elixir duration. I'll probably spend most of my Smouldering Ashes on the XP bonus to get more Paragon points, but it looks like there will be diminishing returns on choosing the same option, so I might have to spread my points out a bit. So yeah, those Smouldering Ashes are earned through the Battle Pass. And what I really like is that this currency is available exclusively on the free tier. You won't get any extra ashes on the paid premium tier. Another thumbs up from me. The first battle pass will also feature 2 armor sets for every class, a mount equipment, and it's all designed around the theme of the season. And they've not announced what the first theme is yet. I heard the developers at one point say there would be 90 tiers on the first battle pass and 120 days to complete it. Maybe it's not quite set in stone yet, but they are aiming for season 1 to begin in mid to late July. Throughout the latest interview, Blizzard made a big thing about how the game is not going to have any pay to win, and whether it is or not is probably up for debate. To be honest, I disagree with Blizzard a little. I think that paying for anything that adjusts gameplay or reduces how much of the game you need to play to achieve something can fall under a category of pay to win. And with Diablo 4, you're able to pay to skip 20 tiers of the Battle Pass, The Battle Pass is mostly cosmetic rewards, but don't forget those gameplay boosts through seasonal blessings. Now, the developers defend the ability to skip 20 tiers by stating they've added a level requirement to Smouldering Ashes to stop the pay to win. I mean, why even have Smouldering Ashes on the Battle Pass in the first place? But I think we're going to need to test this ourselves in Season 1 and see if we really do end up getting the Smouldering Ashes earlier with the 20 tier skips or not. Surely someone at level 100 with a Battle Pass tier 72 would have less Smouldering Ashes than someone at tier 92? God, I get so wound up over microtransactions. I swear it's because I care about the games industry so much, but it doesn't matter. We're going to have to wait and see how these work. And there's the option to buy 4-day early access. Diablo is a pretty competitive series. Not to mention D4 is going to have more PvP than previous mainline games, and you can pay to get ahead of the curve. But it's not too bad. I'm not going to get the pitchforks out. I want to hear from you guys. How excited are you for Diablo 4? Maybe I'll pace myself and focus on one class every season. That is if I enjoy the game. I'm going to go hard at launch like I did Diablo 3. I'm going to focus Necromancer for the base game and probably Season 1. I've given Necromancer a try and it's decent. Your undead pets are a little bit more active now than in D3. I just hope I don't find myself stuck in a boss room with my pets dead and no corpses to raise new minions. That was a nightmare when I was replaying D2. Well, that actually already kind of happened fighting the beta world boss or Shava. My entire army of minions would die in just one AoE, and I could barely generate any corpses to create new minions. And they'd just die instantly anyway, so that kinda sucks. I felt useless all throughout that fight. But I will say, playing this last Diablo beta, the game is definitely running better for me than it did previously. So, yay! The game is actually playable now! 3 weeks to go for Diablo 4, hang in there, but for now, I've got to get back to some Tears of the Kingdom. Peace for now.